Welcome to another episode of Spread the Word! Yay! Oh, it is the Halloween edition of Spread the Word. Okay, Christen,
Yes.
tell us about your book. She's super excited about it. She's been excited about it for months.
For months? Since May. So I'm going to tell you guys about a book by Emily M. Danforth called Plain Bad Heroines. This is a very ratty looking galley of it because I loved it so much. It took very long to read it because I'm still mad that I'm not reading it. Like I'm mad that it's over.
Yeah.
It's 600 pages.
I was gonna say, it's like
my
a
gosh,
big
yeah,
book.
it's hefty.
The reason that I picked it up, it had like this slip cover on it that said, "Danger, keep away from impressionable female readers," which is like, done. Shall pick you up. It mixes a Victorian haunting with a modern day making of a movie story. Okay, so once upon a time in 1901 in Rhode Island, there was a school called the Brookhants School. It's run by Libby Brookhants. She runs this all-girls school on the property of the house she lives, which is called Spite Manor.
Oh.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
And there's a whole story there, unshockingly. And the girls at her school are just like all a titter about this book called The Story of Mary McLean, which is a real book by Mary McLean. She published it when she was 19, originally under the title I Await the Devil's Coming. Let that sink in.
It is, yeah.
And it is a collection, it is her diary. She invokes the devil constantly throughout the book because she wants fame and she wants to be rid of her, like, quotidian life in a patriarchal society. Like, she is not complaining about anything that is unreal.
Yeah.
She's like, my life is boring. My mother doesn't really love me because I'm just like a vessel to like help propel things forward for everybody else. But anyways, her book is published. The title is changed to The Story of Mary McLean. It's a memoir, but it's like very feminist, very queer, unabashed. And in this fictional school, they find this book and they're like, oh my god, she's amazing. She's 19. She's saying all these things, and she had this one line in the book. She wanted to just be a plain bad heroine. And so that's where the girls at the school form their plain bad heroine society. Strange things happen at the school. 3 girls die.
Damn.
2 of the girls die. They are in a relationship. They're very much in love. And they die in what's called the tricky thicket. And they die by
What?
The tricky thicket?
The tricky thicket.
Tricky thicket.
It's in the woods and it's a thicket and it's tricky. They die by yellow jacket stings,
Oh, damn.
which sounds like a super fun way to go. Girls who died in the woods in the tricky thicket are Clarence and Florence. Clarence and Flo. They were founding members of the Plain Bad Heroine Society.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously they had a copy of Mary McLean's book. And the third girl, Frances, she dies by ingesting these poisonous blooms, but she's like gone into a delirium before that and had the book.
So the book
The book.
is something.
It was
Cursed?
It seems that's what it seems to be, and that's all signs point towards that.
Okay.
So flash forward 100 years, 120 years, and they're filming this movie based on the story of this curse.
Mm-hmm.
And like the townspeople all talk about this property as if it is still cursed. That it always was cursed. So the movie is being filmed, and it's starring Harper, who I imagine is like a Ruby Rose type of person, and then Audrey, she's described as a normcore Anna Kendrick. So they're the 2 stars. They're playing Clarence and Florence, and they've been cast there. They're shooting on location, and weird shit happens. And then you flash backwards and forwards between the actual filming of the movie and the actual events at Brookhants. Not just the deaths of Flora and Clara. What was I saying before?
Wait. Clarence and Florence?
I meant Clara and Florence.
Okay,
I was
Clara
just
and
mixing. I was
Florence.
mixing Florence and Clara into Clarence.
Clarence and Flo. Did you say Flo?
Flo. She was nicknamed Flo.
Florence.
Yeah, I was just totally blending Clara and Florence together.
Okay.
Clarence.
Anyways, so if you buy this book from us, you too can be a bona fide member of the Bad Heroine Society. Woo woo. And then you can also have a scary bug as a bookmark It's your own to kill both Clarence.
I was gonna say the yellow jacket that
Clara
killed Clarence.
and Flora. Damn it.
Oh my god. I'm definitely gonna have to put in screens for that.
But like at the end of the day, what this is about, this is a ghost story and also like a warning against people who would push patriarchal systems on women and people generally.
Yeah.
Great.
It's like very much a warning against like what can happen if you do not listen to the will of women and what they want and their autonomy. Bad shit happens.
Yes.
Okay, so the book that I read is called Cinders and Sparrows. I wanted to talk about this one because it's so perfect for this time of year. It is a middle grade book, and it would be so fun to, like, as a read aloud, too. Okay, so the main character, who I assume is supposed to be this lady here on the cover, is Zeta Bridgeborn. All she remembers about her life, like, she's, like, 12, I think. She remembers growing up in an orphanage. As far as she knows, she was dropped off there as a baby. And one day, a scarecrow comes over the ledge and gives her a letter saying that she's actually the heir to Blackbird Castle.
I mean, a scarecrow, that's like, it's like as good as a notary.
Right.
Or an owl, perhaps.
Or an owl.
Or an owl.
Anyway, so she arrives at this home to be like, hello, I'm the long lost heir that you all are looking for. And she gets like kind of a weird welcome. The two servants who are about her age, Bram and Minifer, and Mrs. Cantanker are the ones that she meets. And Mrs. Cantanker is the housekeeper who's quite cantankerous. She's the least pleased to have Zeta be there. It turns out the Blackbirds were a famous witching family. So like in this like world that, you know, magic is real, and there's sort of like this hint of like there are these big magical families. But a lot of them have kind of died out. They're kind of intermingling more with humans. So anyways, Zeta gets, Mrs. Cantanker is going to teach her to be a witch, but she's kind of doing it begrudgingly. And the other thing she learns when she gets there, so she's like obviously really happy as an orphan to arrive to be like, oh, I found my family. And they say, oh, you haven't heard. And she's like, what do you mean? And they take her into this room that's like set in this like banquet dining style. And there are these like 4 or 5 figures. Like they look like statues, and it turns out that that's her family, and they were cursed and turned to stone.
What?
So they're dead, seemingly. And she's like, oh. She wants to figure out this curse. She gets like a lot of hints that maybe there's a way she can break it, and then she starts to get hints that like everything is not quite what it seems. Bram and Minifer seem to want to be able to talk to her about everything, but there's clearly some things they can't say, and not because they shouldn't, but because they physically can't. And then Mrs. Cantanker is like, you sort of think at the beginning like maybe she's just like a bit of a curmudgeonly lady who will warm up to her, and then you're like, no, there's something else going on here that's a little more like malevolent. Yes, so she's like unpuzzling the mysteries of this manor house, which is cool and has like flavorings of like a Hogwarts kind of, because there's like these passageways, you don't know where they go. There's these little creatures that come through the walls to steal things, kind of like fairies or sprites. Yeah, so it just has like all those fun, spooky elements. Yeah, I think he did a really great job with it. I was shocked by some of the revelations. Like I thought I knew where I was going, and then I was like, oh, that's not quite what I did. In the end, it's a story about family and like finding your place and like learning who you are. So I thought it was great, and I finished it really quickly, and I was just dreaming about reading it by a fire.
Oh, yeah. All right, I read A Deadly Education by Naomi Novik. It's beautiful. Let's just start off
I
there.
love
Also
this.
a beautiful cover.
Yes, so pretty. Even like, I don't know if you guys have looked at
Oh,
the inside.
the end paper.
papers.
Yes. Okay, so I read this
Oh my god.
as a digital galley, so I didn't get all of this fun
Right,
stuff.
yeah.
And this actually would have been really helpful when I was reading it.
Yeah.
This is the school, the Scholomance. And it's like a dark version of Hogwarts. Super dark version of Hogwarts. When you go into the school, you're going to get out one of 2 ways. You're either going to die or you're going to graduate.
Oh shit. Kind of like the Goblet of Fire, sorry.
Yeah, but like even more, like imagine all of the Robert Pattinsons dying. That's what happens here.
All the
Oh my
Hufflepuffs,
God.
Cedric, yeah.
all the finders.
Danger like around every corner. Even like when they go into like the cafeteria, they have to be careful. Because like things will come down on their heads.
Oh,
There's like
God.
certain tables where they're like, oh, a student died there last week. I
Oh
shouldn't
my
sit there.
God.
Life or death all the time. And so this is kind of just setting the scene for this. And the main character, her name is Galadriel. She goes by Elle. She's in this school, and there's this other guy that really annoys her. His name is Orion. and he's like the school hero. He's constantly saving people from all of these mishaps that happen. He saves her in one of the first scenes, and she's just like, WTF, stop, this is annoying. Now everybody's going to think that I'm weak, and you can't look weak in this place. So that like kind of kicks off the story, and you're like, oh my gosh, I love her, because she's like, everybody's like, oh, Orion, like, you're our hero, and she's just like, go away. Also, with Galadriel, so each of the students kind of have like a special ability that they excel at, and with Galadriel, her special ability is mass destruction. So she could literally take out the whole school if she wanted, so she's constantly trying to like rein herself in, because there's this prophecy that says that she's going to rise up and end everything.
So she's the chosen one?
Yeah, and so she's constantly battling that. There's ways that you can kind of like dip into the evil side of the magic, turn into like the dark wizard type. Yeah. So she's constantly battling that. And nobody knows how powerful she actually is, because she can't just whip it out for fear of killing everybody.
Yeah.
And their goal too is like, while they're in the school, they're trying to form alliances so that when they get out of the school, they can become part of these like guilds or sects. I can't remember what they're called. Like the New York guild. They're trying to get into these guilds because that's the only way that you can stay alive in their world. There's a lot of strategy that she's doing here, because she doesn't necessarily want to be part of the guilds because the guilds are very like cliquey, but she also wants to stay alive.
Right.
So she's like, there's a lot of strategizing that she's doing here. The school, there are no professors. No teachers, no professors. The school is the
teaching. It's just like trial by fire.
It's like a sentient.
Yeah. So like if you're in trouble, there's no teachers or professors to come to your aid. You rely on yourself and your fellow students, and because it is so cutthroat, often unless you've made alliances, there's not going to be anybody there to help you. And Galadriel, the main character, is just like a joy to read. She's so snarky. There's this really great passage, and I think I sent this to you guys when I was reading it, where she was kind of describing herself. She was like, I'm like this like sexy dark sorceress type. She's just like, this is kind of what I look like, and I'm really trying to avoid this like self-fulfilling prophecy. But it's just like, I've been set up for it. I really, really loved it. This is the first book in the Scholomance series.
Ooh.
Lesson 1.
Lesson
1. So there's definitely going to be more, and I'm very excited about it.
Do we get the sense that it's going to follow Galadriel?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so that was Spread the Word. Definitely some themes going on in these books, right?
It's spooky time of year. We like to read
spooky
things.
season! But be sure to check your emails and check social media for all of our very fun holiday offers that we'll be offering throughout the month of November.
Lots of gift ideas.
Oh my gosh, we have an amazing holiday guide that we've been very hard at work for you. So please check that out and get in touch if you are looking for something special, so we can get it ordered for you quick.
Yeah. And keep an eye out for fun things happening for Small Business Saturday at the end of November.
I put a spell on you,
and it was strong,
so strong, so strong, so strong.
I put a spell on you, and now you're mine.